Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another Breakfast with Blaha, and today we are having Greek yogurt, almond butter, and frozen blueberries. No, I don't care about your opinions of what I eat. By the way, minor side note, anytime someone tells me, oh, I don't like what you eat, I just ban them. You know why? I don't need that sort of negative attitude, and I didn't ask you for your fucking opinion about what I eat. It's rude, and you need to learn basic manners. Now, that being said, let's talk about hypertrophy. Hypertrophy. You know, every time we come over to accessory work, we get a lot of people who come up with these ideas like, well, you know, shouldn't we be doing it really, really heavy? Should our hypertrophy work be done really heavy to get the best strength carryover? You know, that's why you do your strength work. That's why you do your strength work. Aren't you maxing every week? You say, well, no, I'm not maxing every week. Do you not follow my channel? I mean, that's a serious question. If someone's not a novice lifter, they come here and say, oh, I follow and love your work. I love it. I like what you teach. But you don't max out every week. So you don't actually follow my advice. So if you don't follow my advice there, how are you going to make all the other stuff work? And that's kind of the point we come to. If we're doing conjugate training or doing heavy lifts, well, let's say you don't even follow that advice. Let's say you run 5-3-1. You know, it's still a viable system. Aren't you doing really, really heavy barbell work every week? Like, well, yeah. You already have this covered. This is already covered. Why are you that worried about it then? If you're already doing it, you're already handling the strength potential side. You're already doing the really heavy work. Why do you care about it with your hypertrophy? I mean, do you magically think 5s or 6s have amazing carryover to 1 rep max strength that's as good as singles? Because it doesn't. Heavy singles are what develop your strength potential better than anything else. So why are we compromising our other training elements to deal with it? That's basically also the same as someone saying, well, I want to do these really, really high reps. And I'm not talking about 10s. I do mostly 10s. To improve my strength, stamina, my conditioning. Why aren't you doing GPP for that? And I mean, that's a serious question. If you care about your conditioning, why aren't you doing conditioning work? It's clearly not a concern for you if you're not out dragging a sled or doing some barbell complexes, loaded carries, some hill sprints, whatever you need to do. I drag a sled mostly. And then you tell me that you care about conditioning. Do we not see the cognitive dissonance here? You don't care about conditioning. So don't waste your weight room time worried about it, because you clearly don't care about it. So why are we compromising our hypertrophy for it? And when you approach your hypertrophy training with this mindset, it helps you utilize the best tools possible for the job. If we're not worried about lifting the heaviest weight possible, and I'm not saying tension doesn't matter, tension matters tremendously for hypertrophy. It's an absolutely enormous factor. I'm not saying it doesn't matter. But when we use our hypertrophy work for the purpose of maximizing muscle mass, and I'm not saying we can't pick movements that have some carryover, right? You can pick movements that have carryover to your weak points on a lift. Like, that's a great way to approach some of your hypertrophy work. Shouldn't be all of it. Because when I mean movement pattern carryover, not just making the muscle bigger. Okay, fine. then we can focus on what matters. Getting bigger, getting thicker. Because in this training system, that's how we do it. We train each performance element throughout the week. You develop your maximum strength potential by doing training maxes or 1-rep max lifts. Okay? That covers it. You don't need to stand around and say, but do I need to try to do heavy threes or a 3x5 on a back squat or a deadlift or whatever, trying to carry over to my maxes? No, you don't need to worry about it. It's already covered. Do I need to be worried about maximizing compensatory acceleration? No, we're doing speed work every week. On average, what does our breakdown look like on a conjugate type template? About 5% maxes, 25% speed work, 70% accessory work or hypertrophy. If we want conditioning, we add extra conditioning work. I do conditioning 6 days a week. I only live 4 days. I do conditioning 6 days a week. This is covered. It's already covered. We train what we want to train. So when we look at our hypertrophy work, we need to be looking at it in that context. So what does that mean? We need to be looking at range of motion. We need to be looking at tension. Where are we placing that tension in that strength curve to get the most hypertrophy? Mechanical tension matters, but mechanical tension varies even with the same weight at different points. An example would be when we do some dumbbell chest presses to get a longer range of motion and more mechanical tension at the mechanically weakest point of the exercise for the pec. We need to be looking at stimulus versus fatigue. Right? How much hypertrophy does that movement pattern we are doing stimulate relative to how much it beats us up? Now, for people who say, well, why does that matter? I don't mind being sore and beat up. Yes, you do. You're going to sustain this for 10 years? This is a long game, guys. Telling me that you're perfectly fine for the next 10 years of your life feeling beat into the fucking ground because you can't pick the correct exercises and modalities. You're willing to live with that when you could have got the exact same muscle without it. You're not tough. You're fucking stupid. There's a difference. Or you might be both. You're not going to do that. And if you do, I've got to question what's your goal. Is your goal to just be beat up, or is your goal to get bigger and stronger? People need to hear this stuff. I give my clients tough love like this, by the way. I am an asshole. This is coach coming out. And if you're less beat up, because here's our issue. We always say, well, we can only handle so much volume because we have to recover from it. Yeah, that's true. Why don't you pick volume that you can recover from easier? And you could stimulate even more growth. All right. Your hypertrophy work and supplemental work is there to get you bigger. Use it in that context. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.